Another person was cured of HIV. While this is incredibly exciting news, it doesn't mean we can cure everyone just yet. Let me explain why this breakthrough is significant and why we still have a long way to go. An HIV patient in Germany underwent a stem cell transplant in 2015 as a treatment for leukemia. Remarkably, he stopped taking antiretroviral drugs in 2018, and the virus has remained in remission ever since. This makes him one of just 7 people worldwide to achieve HIV remission through such a procedure. A stem cell transplant involves replacing a patient's damaged or diseased immune cells with healthy stem cells from a donor. When successful, a stem cell transplant will cause a patient's immune system to be identical to that of the donor. In this case, the donor's stem cells had a genetic mutation that provided partial resistance to HIV. What's particularly exciting is the stem cell donor carried just 1 copy of the mutation that's known to confer resistance to HIV. Previous cases involved donors with 2 copies of the gene. So this discovery teaches us more about HIV and how we might be able to fight it in the future. However, it's important to understand that this approach is not a viable solution for most people living with HIV. Stem cell transplants are complex, risky, and costly procedures, primarily used for treating cancer patients with no other options. Scaling this method for widespread HIV treatment is not feasible. The low survival rate associated with the transplant and the need for compatible donors with specific genetic traits makes it impractical. For most people with HIV, antiretroviral treatment remains the most effective way to manage the virus.
They said it couldn't be done. They said it was like finding a needle in a haystack. But once again, science has pulled a rabbit out of the hat. Another person has been medically cured of HIV. This isn't science fiction. It's happening right now, and the story behind it is nothing short of jaw-dropping. Comment unbelievable if you're amazed already. In this video, we're going to reveal the incredible details of this medical miracle, why it matters for the millions living with HIV, and why, despite the excitement, the road to a universal cure is still long and winding. If you're watching this video, comment "great" down below so I know you're with me right from the start. Let's dive in. Back in 2015, in Germany, a man battling both HIV and leukemia underwent a treatment that would change his life forever. He received a stem cell transplant, a complex medical procedure normally reserved for patients with life-threatening cancers who have no other options left. And here's the kicker. After 2018, he stopped taking his HIV medication entirely. And to this day, the virus hasn't returned. Comment miracle if you find that absolutely incredible. This makes him one of just 7 people in the world who have achieved long-term HIV remission through this type of treatment. Think about that, only 7 people in the entire history of HIV research. That's how rare and extraordinary this is. Now, a stem cell transplant is not like getting a blood transfusion or taking a pill. It's an intense process where doctors wipe out the patient's existing immune system and replace it with healthy stem cells from a compatible donor. When it works, the patient's immune system is essentially reborn, now mirroring that of the donor. Here's where it gets even more fascinating. In this German patient's case, the donor had a rare genetic mutation that offers resistance to HIV. But unlike previous cases where the donor had 2 copies of this protective mutation, this donor only had 1, and it still worked. That's like winning the lottery with half a ticket. This new discovery is rewriting what scientists thought they knew about how HIV resistance works. Comment "Science rocks" if you think this is groundbreaking. Now, you might be thinking, that's it. We found the cure. Let's give everyone a stem cell transplant. Well, hold your horses. As exciting as this is, the reality is far more complicated. Stem cell transplants are risky, expensive, and incredibly difficult to pull off. They're not performed unless a person is facing a life-threatening condition like aggressive cancer. The survival rate isn't very high, and finding a donor with the right genetic makeup is like looking for a single star in a galaxy. Comment "real talk" if you appreciate this honest perspective. I believe you're enjoying this video. Before we continue, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Comment "wonderful" if you're learning something new today. Now, here's why this news is still so important. Every time scientists crack open another piece of the HIV puzzle, they get closer to designing treatments that could work for everyone. This case proves that even partial genetic resistance can lead to remission, which means future therapies could be more flexible than we once thought. Imagine a world where doctors can use gene editing tools like CRISPR to give people the same HIV-resistant mutation without needing a dangerous transplant. We're not there yet, but this case makes that dream seem a little less far-fetched. Comment future ready if you're excited about what's to come. In fact, researchers are already exploring ways to mimic what these rare donors have naturally, so instead of hunting for a perfect donor, they could reprogram a patient's own cells to resist HIV. That would be a game changer. But until then, the gold standard for managing HIV remains antiretroviral therapy. These daily medications keep the virus in check, allowing people to live long, healthy lives. It's not a cure, but it's a lifeline for millions worldwide. The real challenge now is making sure everyone, regardless of where they live, has access to this life-saving treatment. Comment equal care if you believe in global healthcare equality. And here's something worth noting. Every cure case we've seen so far has come from unique, high-risk medical circumstances, not from a standard, safe treatment plan for HIV alone. That means that while these stories inspire hope, they're not blueprints for mass treatment just yet. Moving on, let's talk about the ripple effect of news like this. Every successful case fuels more funding, more research, and more global awareness. It inspires scientists to push harder and the public to believe in the possibility of an HIV-free future. And if history has taught us anything, it's that today's impossible can become tomorrow's routine. Just think of how far we've come since the early 1980s. Comment hopeful if you believe we can one day eradicate HIV completely. This breakthrough also raises important conversations about the role of personalized medicine treatments tailored to a person's genetic makeup. If doctors can identify who might benefit most from certain therapies, they can target resources where they'll make the biggest difference. Before we wrap up, let's reflect. 7 people in the world have achieved this kind of remission. Each story is unique, but together they're like breadcrumbs leading us toward a bigger discovery. They show us that HIV can be beaten, and not just managed under the right circumstances. The journey ahead is challenging, but moments like this prove that the human spirit, backed by scientific brilliance, can shatter even the toughest medical mysteries. Comment inspiring if you're leaving this video with renewed hope. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most exciting HIV breakthroughs in recent history, don't just keep it to yourself. Hit subscribe, smash that like button, and share this video with your friends and family. Trust me, someone out there needs to hear this story today. And before you leave, make sure you check out the other fascinating videos on this channel, from medical miracles to wellness tips that can change your life. Who knows? The next video you watch here might just blow your mind all over again. Remember, science never sleeps, and neither should your curiosity.